I love WIC.
Me encanta WIC. Apoya mucho.
They are supportive.
Es útil.
And they're so helpful.
Coma sanamente.
Eat fruits and vegetables.
Su bebé es importante.
So eat healthy. The baby is important. Exercise regularly.
Del embarazo al nacimiento.
From pregnancy to birth, put your nutrition first. Breastfeeding is the best choice.
Dar pecho, la mejor opción.
Yeah, WIC is the best.
WIC es lo mejor. El programa de WIC.
The WIC Show.
Hello, and welcome to the WIC Show, the show about WIC, for WIC, and by WIC. I'm Arellano Samuel. Today, we'll show you why exclusively breastfeeding your baby can help you save money. And a WIC mom shares her story about the premature birth of her daughter. Plus, in the WIC kitchen, our chef spices up a recipe from WIC's Let's Cook cookbook. But first, we start today's show talking about that miracle of nature, your new baby. And believe it or not, even at this early stage in life, nature has built into your baby the ability to give you cues about what he or she needs. The WIC Show's Paola Laverde gives you tips on how to read your baby's cues.
It's okay. I'm a little upset. I'm hungry. No, I'm hungry too.
It's been a long visit to the WIC lactation consultant, and now 2-week-old Jonathan is letting his mom know just how hungry he really is. Cries like these are just some of the cues babies use to communicate with their parents and caregivers. WIC breastfeeding peer counselor Dewana Blackman says baby cues are things babies do naturally to let you know what they need.
Knowing what your baby needs makes it easier for you to provide what the baby wants at the time that the baby needs it. So your baby's going to be happier, less fussy. You'll be able to bond better if you respond to the baby's cues as the baby's giving them.
And babies, even newborns, use all sorts of cues to get you to pay attention to them. So Dewana, we have some video clips of babies at different stages. This is Riley. He's 2.5 weeks old. So I'm going to cue it up, and you tell me what cues he's giving his mom.
Okay. That's definitely rooting. That's a hunger cue. And most babies do that, newborns even, to let mom know that it's time to eat. You could also see how intent he is when he's looking at her. That's still rooting. He's basically trying to get to the breast. Oh, there's more fingers in the mouth. He's really getting geared up to be ready to eat. And there's latching.
So now we have a 6-month-old little girl, Valentina, and her mom's been feeding her. So what kind of cue does Valentina give her mom?
Okay, see the extended hand and the fingers all splayed out? It's kind of like a stop sign. It's the baby's way of telling mom, I'm finished. She's basically probably getting towards the end of her feeding. She's full. And when she wants to let mom know she's done, you know, she's reaching out and she's basically telling mom, okay, I've had enough.
So Dewana, our last clip that we have here is 5-month-old Francisco, and mom wants to try to nurse him.
Okay.
So this is what he does.
It's amazing how creative they get as they get older. The little cough he did, that's his mom's attention getter. It's like, he really doesn't want to nurse. And that little cough is his mom's signal. I'm trying to get your attention. Mom, I'm not ready to eat. I don't want it. And look, he's pushing her away. He's like, nope, not this time.
Getting back to Jonathan and his crying, it's important for parents to understand that crying is one way babies communicate. When they're 6 weeks old, they cry on average about 2 hours a day, but usually it's not all at the same time. And babies cry for a variety of reasons.
They cry if they're overstimulated. They'll cry if, of course, they're wet or if they're uncomfortable in any way. So they used crying for a lot of different things.
To learn more about your baby's cues, just ask your WIC counselor. In our next story, we all know that having a baby is challenging, but that challenge is made extra hard when your baby comes unexpectedly early. A WIC mom shares her story of having a preemie in her own words.
For Deja to be born, it was exciting and scary at the same time because she wasn't supposed to make it. My little miracle baby. My name is Jamila Renee Mathieu, and my daughter's name is Deja Joy Mathieu. Deja was born November 26, 2006, and she was born about almost 3 months early. She was a preemie. For Deja to be born, it was exciting and scary at the same time because she wasn't supposed to be here, so she's like my little angel. Deja was 4 pounds and 6 ounces when she was born, and she could literally fit in the palm of my hand. But her arms and legs were so long, like they just hung over. And it was amazing because when she came out, her eyes were open, she was smiling, and everyone was shocked. And so I got to hold her because she was very aware, basically, of her surroundings, of what was going on. And I got to spend a little time with her, and then they took her away. It was rather difficult to leave the hospital and not have my daughter with me when I left. I'm really big on comedy, so I would make a lot of jokes. I felt like I was cheated. I had my daughter and she didn't get to go home with me. And then it came to where they tried to kick me out of the hospital because I would not go home. I would stay there. I'd sign up for a bed to sleep at the hospital so that I could be close to my daughter because at home all I had was a whole bunch of baby shower gifts all over the place. So it just reminded me, it made me really sad because she wasn't home with me. Breastfeeding was the most difficult part about having my daughter in the hospital because I wasn't able to be there for her 100% of the time that she needed me to be able to feed her because of her condition. Deja was in an incubator, and she had tubes up her nose, a feeding tube, and she had things on her feet and on her hands and things like that. So it was really difficult, and she was also given formula, which I was totally against. So I'm like up all nights, all morning, all night, like hours of the day, just pumping milk, trying to get it in the freezer so that she'd be able to have it instead of the formula. But it was rough. It was actually really rough, yeah. Deja was in the hospital almost a month. Getting Deja to come home with me was like the highlight of my life, honestly. It was right before Christmas, and it was like I had gotten a gift early because she wasn't supposed to make it. She wasn't supposed to be here, and she's my little miracle baby. I just felt so good to take her home because she seemed like she had been there forever, even though it was only a few weeks. To be honest, if it wasn't for WIC, I don't know what I would have done. Not only did they provide a breast pumping machine for me to be able to take home to work and school so that I could try my best to provide as much milk for my daughter as possible. There is a wonderful person on staff there named Arellano, and she's so helpful. She's really great. She would call me on the phone to check and see how I was doing, how Deja was doing. Even when Deja was in the hospital, she would come and see me. She would come and talk to me. And she'd try and make sure that I was eating right and giving Deja as much breast milk as possible because that's what I was told as far as her being a preemie would really keep her from being sick. So I found out with WIC how important breastfeeding was for my daughter. I'm gonna take you upstairs with Anna. You wanna go upstairs with Anna B? When you have a preemie child, they have different needs than children who come full term. Not only did she have a lot of ear infections, she easily got colds. And so not only, dressing her warm became an issue and just trying to keep up with her health, her shots and things like that. It was just really important to stay on top of her health. Being that her lungs were underdeveloped, she had a situation with projectile vomiting where it would come through her nose and her mouth at the same time. And it was almost like she was strangling. I really felt helpless. There was nothing that I could do. I would just wait and try and look her in the eyes and keep her calm as possible and make sure she knew that I was there for her. But dealing with that made me aware of how much I really needed to pay attention to my daughter. That's like climbing the ladder, yeah, you gotta be careful. There you go, there you go, there you go. You got Deja's 3, she'll be 4 in November. And it's amazing because The doctor told me since she was a preemie, she would grow to be big, be huge, and Deja's like half my height now. I'm only 5'3". So talking to her doctor, he told me she's gonna be between 5'7" and 5'9", so she's getting really big. For me, Deja being a preemie seems like it's in a distant past, but in the back of my mind, I still know that my daughter was a preemie, but now it seems like she is a regular kid. Like, she was born full term. She's healthy, she's full of life, and to be honest, she's doing better than some kids who are full term. As far as comprehending, she's learning Spanish, she's doing all types of stuff. Advice that I would give to other parents who have preemie children, I would just say, as much as possible, believe in yourself and definitely know that there was nothing that you did wrong in order for your child to be born premature. That's something that I went through. Definitely looking for help instead of just waiting for it to find you. Help is really, really a good thing because it'll make you feel a lot better, and you're not the only person out there going through this situation. There are a lot of children who are born premature.
If you have a premature baby, make sure you inform your WIC counselor. Most WIC agencies in California have trained lactation consultants and breastfeeding peer counselors to help you get through this very challenging time. Did you know that California's food stamp program has a new name? It's called CalFresh, and its slogan is, "Better food for better living." As a WIC client, you just might qualify for this program that helps add more food to your table.
Hi, my name is Liz Gomez. I am the Outreach Programs Manager at the Alameda County Community Food Bank. The food stamp program was designed to help families and individuals buy food each month. Food stamp benefits are now issued in the form of an EBT card, which is used just like a debit card to buy food at most grocery stores. Food stamps program is not a welfare program. It is a nutrition program like WIC. One of the major differences between the two programs is that for food stamps, there need to be at least one household member who is a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident. To qualify for food stamps, it will depend on your household size and income. Eligibility for food stamps will be determined by your local food stamp office. Your caseworker will request proof of income received in the household, such as pay stubs or a letter from an employer if you are paid in cash, as well as any expenses paid. Allowable expenses include rent or mortgage, as well as utility expenses such as gas, electricity, water, garbage, and phone.
For more information about where to apply for the CalFresh program, just ask your WIC counselor. They can also refer you to your local food bank if you're in need of emergency food now. Coming up next on the WIC Show, we show you how you can get extra food from WIC. And we go into the WIC kitchen with BG to see what's cooking. I'll be right back.
WIC is the best.
WIC es lo mejor, el programa de WIC.
The WIC Show.